This is my zombie challenge weapon for the 2018 pumpkin apocalypse. This started life as a Chevy leaf spring. I had to rough forge it because it seemed really prone to cracking. I was getting a lot of cracks the thinner I got it and the more I got it towards its final shape. So that left a lot of grinding to do. I had plans to leave it rough looking anyway because I wanted to make a short film to go with it, but the weather turned just as soon as I finished the blade, so I didn't have time to do any of that. The blade is 18 inches long and 3/8 of an inch thick. It has a 12-inch handle of white oak. The overall length is 32.5 inches, and the ring is about 2.5 inches diameter. The harden and temper went pretty well. No cracking, no issues. Didn't take any warps, but it's pretty hard on the edge, and it holds an edge well. I've been beating the crap out of it in cherry, oak, maple, fir, limbs, knots, just the roughest stuff I could throw at it, and it's holding up. This wasn't an idea I got from a video game. I don't know if it'll be recognized because I couldn't find a single image or reference to it being historical, so I don't know if it's even real, but the weapon was called a dented falchion, so the only way I know to call that is a dented tip. It works pretty well. It definitely cuts a square notch on the thrust. When turned around and swung, it can leave a nasty gash in a pumpkin. The balance of the blade is approximately 1 inch in front of the handle. It'd be a good thing and a bad thing. I wanted it more forward weighted. I wound up losing a bunch of steel due to a pinhole in the leaf spring. I wasn't able to work around it or close it up, and I didn't want to weld in this. And I couldn't get a forge weld to stick when I tried to fold it. It wound up being not as forward weighted as I liked, and I think that took away from some of the energy of it. It would have made for a less wieldy weapon, but given the momentum, it would have had more power. As it is now, it is fairly nimble. It's pretty easy to get moving and change direction. I had a lot of fun building it and making it. I learned quite a bit in the process. Well, this has been a learning lesson, if nothing else. I'm pretty happy with my hardening and temper. The fullers were ground in with a skinny wheel, and then a grind wheel followed. I wanted to forge them, but like I said, I was having a little trouble with the cracking and really didn't want cracks going through my spine.
Go.
Ready?
Yep.
No burrs, no edge rolling, no chips. I dare to guess it wasn't as sharp as it was when I started. Here I found an edge roll right out on the end. I tried to keep the tip soft because I didn't want it breaking off. So I'm not surprised by that one. So into the sweet spot of the blade, I chopped into the barbell itself, and there's just the faintest bit of edge reflecting right there in front of my thumb, but no rolling there. You can see here it bit deep into the steel. I was hoping to cut it in two or break the sword, but that'll work. Alright, now we actually have a bit of edge fracturing, chipping, rolling. I was trying to go through it pretty hard that time. I got it to fold. I mean, I guess that's mild steel. This is the old style of barbell, obviously. It's not meant for a great deal of weight. This was really green white oak that I used for the handle scales, and I don't think that's the epoxy's fault for the separation, because if you look here at the pins, they're still flush and smooth. Something like that you can see on the far side where the wood is raised up to it. I think there was shrinking going on in every direction, and none of these pins raised up or are sharp or causing any irritation. The tang of the blade is causing irritation, or would be if I weren't wearing gloves, because the scales have shrunk completely away from it in every direction. This piece on this side, the whiter one, whiter in color, I believe it was sapwood. That's what I was going for, but in a rush I wound up taking a piece with a bunch of heartwood in it, and it seems to have pulled away much more than the sapwood did. I don't think I'll use green wood again. I thought it might work, but it's kind of let me down here. It's one of my biggest complaints about this whole project.